Hello everyone, today I want to take a few minutes to go over some of the buttons and controls you'll find in your new Ford vehicle. Just for reference, I'm inside of a new 2021 Ford Explorer Timberline, and the location of some of these buttons will vary based on which vehicle you have, but as long as your vehicle is equipped with that button, the explanation will remain the same. Let's start off here simple with the gear selector. So this is a rotary gear selector available on the Explorer. So we have park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then M for manual. If I turn all the way to drive with my foot on the brake, hit M for manual, that will illuminate here, and then up on the gauge cluster. If I hit it again, M will illuminate, and then a number 1 will appear in the gauge cluster. And then I can use these paddles on either side of the steering wheel to cycle between the gears and transmission. So if I hit plus, it will go up to 2, and if I hit minus, it will go down to 1. The next button here, or switch for that matter, is our electronic parking brake switch. So if I have my foot on the brake and I pull up on the switch, park brake is turned on, and then foot on the brake, press down on the switch, park brake off. So that is very simple to operate. The next button down is our auto hold feature. So this is off by default unless you hit that button on. So let's turn that on. On is now illuminated, and what this feature does is that if you come to a complete stop and this button is turned on, your vehicle will hold the brake there for you, so you don't have to keep your foot on the brake pedal itself until you actually hit the accelerator pedal and then start to move again. So it'll hold the brake for you. This is especially helpful if you're stopped for an extended period of time, whether it be in traffic or at a stoplight. So that's what that button does. The next one down here is our auto stop start button. This feature is on by default in every Ford vehicle that it's equipped with. And if you wanted to defeat that switch or turn it off, you need to hit the button every time you get into the vehicle. And what this does is it will turn your engine off based on a few different factors, namely engine temperature, whether or not you're using the battery a lot, whether that's for your heating and cooling system. So there are a number of different factors that go into it, and that could be its own separate video itself, but that's what this button does. And if you want to turn it off, you have to hit this button every time you get into your vehicle, and then that off will illuminate. The next button down from that is our traction control button. So this is on by default, and if you want to turn traction control off, you need to hit this button, and then up on your screen it will say traction control off, and if we hit it again, that will go to traction control on. So that's all that button does. The next one over here to the right of that is our hill descent assist. So if you're going down a very steep grade at a low speed, and keep in mind it has to be between 2 and 20 miles an hour for this feature to work. If you're in drive and you hit this button, you'll be able to use your cruise control buttons here on the steering wheel to select the speed that you want to go down that hill at. And remember, it has to be between 2 and 20 miles an hour. And all you'll need to do is steer the vehicle, and the vehicle will do all of the braking for you as long as that feature is active. The next one here is our drive mode dial. So if I cycle through the dial here now, you'll be able to see the options that are available to you in the Ford Explorer Timberline. So we have deep snow and sand, trail, slippery, normal, eco, sport, and then tow haul. So depending on the model that you have, some of these options may or may not be available, but you can cycle through them using the knob here labeled as drive modes. Now the last button is our camera button here, located to the right of our hazard switch. And if I hit that button, it will turn on the front-facing camera as well as our 360-degree camera. And it's especially helpful if you're pulling out of a parking space or pulling into a garage and you want to make sure that there's nothing in front of you. And you'll be able to activate that by hitting the switch right here. And that is exactly what that button looks like. This button especially is in different places depending on what model you have, but that is exactly what it looks like. You hit that, and then your camera will turn on. If you have any other questions about any other features in a new Ford vehicle, or if you have any comments that you'd like to drop them below, and thank you for watching.